Welcome back into Uptown Charlotte. ACC football kickoff continues, and the ACC champs just came off of the podium. The Clemson Tigers here. We got to hear from all of their players and their head coach, Dabo Swinney, who is now here at the desk with us. Coach Swinney, always good to see you and talk to you. You come back as the ACC champs, coming off another 10-win season. You got your quarterback back. You got a lot of players back. You got a lot of hype around this team, and I know there's a lot to be excited about, and you'll keep it all, at base level, because you got to go out there and play. But what's one thing that right now, as you guys get ready for fall camp next week, that you're the most excited about what you've been able to do in this program?
What I've been able to do in the program or this season?
With your off season, with your team getting ready for.
I'm most excited about being a complete team next week, because we had a lot of guys out in the spring. So for the first time, really getting on the field. But the biggest thing is just the young men that we have, and just the development that I've been able to see, from this experienced group. We've got, I don't know if you saw the press conference, but I mean, Peter Woods and TJ Parker, they're great players, but they're graduating in December in 3 years. Cade Klubnik, I mean, his leadership and just having a front row seat to that development has been awesome. Antonio Williams, who's here as well. I mean, what a stud he is, man. He's graduating in December. So I think the biggest thing is, in the craziest time ever in football, not only have we won, but we have the highest graduation rate in the country, and we're tops in the country in retention. Fewest players leaving our program. So the reason we have so much experience coming back, and y'all talking about all the production coming back, is because kids stay. And that's what I'm most excited about. That means they're having a great experience.
Can you lean a little bit more into that? Because I think it is the great uniqueness of Clemson. And obviously I lived, and I know that this is, just for you to tell everybody else. But in a world of the most uncertainty, the most chaos, you bring everybody back. You keep everybody back. You develop these guys into monsters and great men, on the football field there. Why? Why do they want to stay?
Yeah, well, it's not me bringing them back. They choose, because everybody has a choice, and they choose to stay. And I think that just speaks to, living daily our purpose that we have in our program. It's a place that values education and family. There's a lot of structure. There's a lot of accountability. As you know, it's not for everybody. And, we have a group of young people that have bought into it, but it's how it's put together on the front end. We're brutally transparent in the process, and the kids that are coming, they're coming because they really align with the people and the place. And so, because at the end of the day, relationships are still very important. And so, that's why. I mean, it's an amazing place with a bunch of great people. I've got 25 former players on my staff. It's a very connected place, and there's, again, a lot of alignment that's really hard to find in college football.
I do love that you said that, and I love the question, because I'm thinking about the roster, and you got so many backups that could be starters other places and other big-time programs. So I give you a lot of credit for the type of culture that you have there. But I'm also thinking about development, because you stay at Clemson, you get developed, and that's why you guys are going to be special this year. Can you speak on Cade from his day one to where he is now, his growth as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, development is what we've been about for 16 years that I've been the head coach. I mean, our average recruiting has been 13.6 in my tenure. But as a head coach, have the most draft picks in the country the last 16 years. So, I think what's one for us is evaluation, retention, and development, and getting young people to buy into that. But that, again, goes back to alignment on the front end. Cade's a perfect example of that. He was 175 pounds when he got there. And, I just like being with people that are really invested in not just, what they're doing, but why they're doing it and who they're doing it with. And, this kid came all the way from Austin, Texas. What a winner. He's a highly recruited guy, but not ready to play physically, really, at 175 pounds, and really had to kind of mature. His first year as a starter, well documented, took too many sacks, turned it over a lot, had some weird games. And now all of a sudden, for the first time, he had some football adversity. But if you're made of the right stuff, it shines you up. it either grinds you up or shines you up. It's all about what's inside you. And he's got the right stuff, man. And so it was easy for me to say, man, listen, like, you're going to get better. I mean, EMAC got better. He got better. He developed.
It took a lot longer than 1 year.
Yeah, but he developed, and he left as a champion. And Cade, you know, I just believed in him. And, you know, it's easy now to compromise. You know, I try to lead with conviction. That's just how I go about my life. And I had a lot of conviction that Cade was a guy that was important enough to him that he was going to go get better, and that's what he's done. And now he's a 207-pound kid. He went out last year. He did things that he you know, less sacks, less turnovers, less TFLs, more leadership. Better decision making, better situational awareness. Used his legs. Right. I couldn't get him to use his legs the year before, and so, you know, but that's because he believes he does the work, and he's just such a great kid, and I'm so excited about him this year. And if the good Lord keeps him healthy, we'll always have a chance with that guy. And then you talk about development. You know, I've got this kid named, you know, Chris Vizina. You know, and when he came, he was 17. I was like, here's the plan. We're going to redshirt you. Then you're going to be a redshirt for now. You know, if all things stay, and he bought into that. And you know the kid we're getting ready to play at LSU is a similar guy. I think it's impressive what he's done. He stayed at LSU, and you see, you know, what he's done. You know, behind Jaden Daniels, you don't see that much anymore. Right. And Vizina is another guy like that. He's just a guy that's, you know, blooming, and nobody knows much about him, but I think he's in position to really be a good football player. But that's our culture. You know, that's Clemson. And if you come in and you do the work, you're going to get what you earn. And but, you know, this is not a – everybody wants things right now, but I still believe in the Crockpot mentality, man. You know, the best meals I ever had come out of a Crockpot and not a microwave. Yeah, that's what I believe in.
And that's the Clemson way. And I think, you know, it's fun for me as a former player, as one of your former players, that other media members and people at different places will, you know, text me, oh, you know, he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. And now this year it's, oh, my God. He's back. You know, and I said, well, first of all, he never left. And he's going to do his thing his way. And, you know, it's going to work out the way it does. And one of those is bringing in a new defensive coordinator and going and get Tom Allen. And I know that was horrible. Anytime you have to fire somebody or move on, it's the worst thing as a coach. And I understand that. But why was he the choice, and what has he changed about this Clemson defense?
Yeah, you know, he was just I was looking for – there's a lot of good coaches out there, but I really was looking for the right leader. And I just felt like he was the right leader of men because I have a great staff. And I really I wanted the right leader for the staff and the players. And certainly he's got the track record and the background to go with it and the success. But just a lot of alignment, you know, our core values, you know, family, you name it. And, you know, he took the job and never even been to Clemson, which you know,
pretty special. Good job on your part.
Is a reminder to me of, you know, because sometimes, I mean, I've been at Clemson 23 years, so sometimes you don't, you know, but people in the business that this is what they do, they know this is a great place to work. And so it's been awesome. And he's been amazing for our staff. He's been amazing for the players. They've all bought in. But, you know, he's on a nice honeymoon right now. We got LSU rolling in here in a few weeks, so we've got a lot of work to do. But you know, I just felt like he was the right guy at the right time, and it was the right time for him too.
Coach, you mentioned something about Cade and that belief that you always had in him, and we heard him at the podium talk about that conversation that you had with him after he went through some of those trials. What was it, not just that you saw in him, because I know that you saw him from the beginning, but that you saw in him after that? Could you tell that really got through to him and really knowing, you know, he always knew you had his back, but that conversation seemed to be a really special one to him? Yeah,
because, you know, again, I knew what he was going through. And, again, you got to understand the person. I mean, 3 state championships in a row, never lost a game in high school. I think the closest game he played in was 14 points.
Crazy.
And all of a sudden you come in and right out of the gate, you know, he's kind of a backup. And then we put him in the ACC championship game, and he's the MVP. Yeah. You know, and it's like everything's perfect, right? And, you know, it's like this is his life to this point. And then you come out the next year and you have an overtime loss, a double overtime loss. The next thing you know, it hadn't gone. Now for the first time, he's really got a lot of football adversity. And then it's, your coach stinks, you stink, you're never going to win with this guy. Right. There's comparison in this world of social media where there's, all this stuff. But this guy's a winner. And he has great support around him. He's got a great foundation to his life. I watched how he worked and how he processed things from, like, whether it was something good or something bad. And, people like that, again, when they're made of the right stuff, they're going to get better. But I also think it's important that you let people know you believe in them. I mean, I had the same thing happen to me. I mean, my second year, we won 6 games, and we had just lost a home game to South Carolina. Man, it was a bad day.
I got to tell you, as a recruit, I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
I was like, here we go again. What's about to happen to my coach?
Yeah, 2010. And, and I'm like, and I do the press conference, and I come out of the press conference, and my wife's crying, when I get to the thing. And I just, she's crying because I thought she was just sad for me. It had been a tough year. In my, first year we went to the championship. Second year we won 6 games, and we lost 5 games by 6 points or less that year. One in overtime to Auburn and Cam Newton. They go on to win a national championship at Florida State. I mean, it was just brutal. And Cass crying, and I'm like, it's going to be okay, babe. It's okay. And then she's looking at me, and I could tell she's like, help me. And she's just like, I'm sorry, but Terry Don's in your office. And so, she
thinks it's over.
She's ready.
So she thinks I'm getting fired.
Yeah.
And I think I'm getting fired. And I'm like, and I just gave her a big hug, and I said, babe, listen, it's okay. I said, man, God's never left us. I said, I've done the best I can do. And I was like, and I know that, and hey, I'm thankful for the opportunity. I said, we'll be fine. And I gave her a big hug, and and it was like I'm walking the plank, because I got to walk through the door, and then you come around, and my office door was cracked, lights were off, and
oh my God,
and I looked through the crack, and Terry Don Phillips is sitting in there on the couch like this.
You're
He's
like,
on my couch.
It's like The Godfather.
And I never forget. I just took a deep breath, and I just, and I was like, man, hey, Lord, thank you, and I just, you got it. And I was totally prepared for him to fire me. And I was going to be okay. I was going to just give him a hug and thank him, and it's the business. So, but I walk in, and he goes, you got to know Terry Don. He's a old Arkansas guy, Frank Broyles guy. He's just tough and gritty, and he goes, Dabo, come over here and sit down. And so I go over and sit down, and he looks at me, and I'll never forget it. I mean, I literally think I'm being fired. I feel the weight of the world. You lose your rival game. It's just been a brutal year, and not going the way I want. And I know we're a better team, and I know we're doing the right things, but I'm just like, this is the moment. He's like, look, and I'll never forget, he looked me dead in the eye, and he said, Dabo, I want you to hear me. He said, now listen to me. He called me son. He said, son, there's going to be a lot of negativity. There's going to be a lot of criticism. He said, but what I want you to know is I got your back. That's what he told me. And he said, and here's what I also want you to know. He said, I believe in you more right now in this moment than I did when I hired you. And he said, and I believe you're going to be one of the great coaches that we've had. And he said, and I know you'll do what you need to do to get us better, but I just want to encourage you. You keep doing what you believe in, and I want you to know I got your back. And then he said, and then he looked at me and he goes, hey, and if it don't work, you help me pack, and I'll help you pack. And he gave me this big hug and walked out.
Wow. Oh, man.
Awesome. Now, you talk about some conviction and belief and what that did for me, and knowing that I had that type of support, it's no different. And when you really believe in something, it's easy to have that conviction. Yeah. And I believe in Kate Klubnik, and I believe in Clemson. I believe in our purpose and how we do things. I believe that we have to use this platform of football to educate and graduate young people and equip them as men beyond the game. I believe in that with all my heart, and that's what we live every single day. And as long as I'm there, that's how we're going to do it.
Well, a decade and a half later, he believed in the right things. It'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see where Cade Klubnik is in a decade and a half from now. Right now, we're looking forward to seeing where he is with that big game. Valley Coach
He'll
Swinney.
probably hanging out in Cabo somewhere. and,
just living the life, right?
Still be grinding over here.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Best of luck this season. These guys will see you for your first one there in Death Valley.